Grand Rising, everyone. It's Shay Seeking, um, and I'm going to be doing a quick share with you guys. Um, I've been looking into the whole 1800s and what was really going on with that whole Republican thing and the Black Republicans, and I just wanted to get a little bit of a better take because there's a lot of things that have been pointing me back into that direction. So I just wanted to read this to you guys. I'm not sure I'm going to upload this or the one article that led me to looking into this first, but I guess you guys will see when it's up. So, this is something that's new to me, but I guess it can be found in earlier writings and somebody knew about it before. So, it's called the White Declaration of Independence. Again, nothing that I put on this channel is to really offend anyone. This channel is for those who are already deep in down the rabbit hole, that realize that we are in a matrix of some sorts and that are going against the grain and looking for information in order to internalize that information and then use that to reprogram the brain or help deprogram the brain. Um, we have been lied to on a massive scale. And a lot of the things are out in the open now, but if no one points you in a direction or even lets you know what you're supposed to be or should be or could be looking for or at, you will not even know that it exists. So we're pulling out all of the dirty stuff and bringing it forward. And hopefully it will help to stop the division and help people to see that they're playing with our minds and our emotions. And we've allowed them to do so for way too long. So now it's time to have some rational thinking, common sense, and use discernment. Okay? Education does not equal what was I going to say? Religion doesn't equal spirituality, and education does not mean that you are knowledgeable. Okay, um, so let's go ahead. We're looking at the whole construct of things. We're looking at the caste system, of the hierarchy that's been set up, I believe, and they just keep us all fighting at the bottom of the barrel about silly things like race and all this other things. Not to say that these things are not important, but I think we've been given a false perception as to how things have gone in the past. Okay, so my channel is a Talkthon Sage, Oracles and Sages Unchained on YouTube, but this may go up on Facebook. So again, you can find me there. My name is Shay Seeking. You can probably find me under that if you look on YouTube. So yeah, let's go ahead and go in. So, the White Declaration of Independence, and I think there's a date. Maybe I'll have to go back for the date. But I want to say it's like 1865 or something, if I'm not mistaken. It could have even been earlier than that. I'm sorry. So, believing that the Constitution of the United States contemplated a government, and I use that term on this channel because I think that's what we're dealing with, to be carried on by a enlightened people. Now, here we go with this enlightened. We were just doing something on Genesis where I'm taking a couple of verses at a time and breaking down Genesis. And then I have extended versions of the study where I go into it all the way. Okay? So, again, here we go with that enlightened people. And here we go with in the beginning, God said, let there be light, and there was light. Okay? Now, we already read the definition where it can do with a sort of spiritual illumination, or we can also be talking about basically lightening something up that was dark. Okay? So, it just is possibly what it might be. Okay? We have to approach it like it is. So, not only are we seeing a division in a caste system, in a lightening up of people in real history, which is why on this channel we put history and the Bible text together, because we see that we are seeing a lot of different dates and names and things that are showing up in history in the early, in the throughout the time of history, especially in Americas. And then we're seeing also dates and things that resonate with stuff that is actually the same type of thing happening in the Bible. Okay, so we don't go with religion and all that here. We're just going against the grain, and we're just using discernment. Okay, so believing that the Constitution of the United States contemplated a government to be carried on by an enlightened people. So you can go ahead and let that resonate with you. Believing that its framers did not anticipate the enfranchisement of an ignorant population of African origin. And believing that those men of the state of North Carolina who joined in forming the Union did not contemplate for their descendants, and again, we know descendants mean someone that is falling from, okay? You're not ascending, okay? So subjection to an inferior race, okay? Okay, so the men of North Carolina who joined in forming the Union, and I think the Union is something we barely really talk about, really, in school, or that I wasn't paying attention, probably, because I looked at his story differently then, okay? And now I'm over it, and I'm looking into it, because you have to know how they operated and what your enemy has been doing in order to come up out of the control that he has you under. So, and leave your feelings to the side. So, did not contemplate for their descendants' subjection to an inferior race, okay? So they don't want to submit to an inferior race because they're supposedly enlightened, and enlightened people are at the top of the caste system, at the top of the Illuminati pyramid. You can judge what you think you see here on your own. So we, the undersigned citizens of the city of Wilmington and county of New Hanover, do hereby declare that we will no longer be ruled and will never again be ruled by men of African origin. Now we're going to be careful of these terms that are being used because we can look at this one way. They never really called the Negro, the so-called Negro, who is more than likely the original people, or what one would even call Indian, here in the Americas, okay? They never really called you African until 1989, when someone that looked like you, that you think is you, that is not you, went ahead and agreed with some other people, not that many, if any, to start calling black people, so-called black people, African American, okay? So they weren't really calling you that then, okay? And we have to also remember that when people were coming over here from all these different places that we hear of in school, they want to give you the perception that it was only a so-called white men, when there were of all different hues, more than likely, that came here. Some look like you, just like some of these misleading people that call themselves leaders nowadays, or throughout the test of time, that are actually the same people. I look at them as the same people. I look at them as Afro-Eurasians, okay? So those are immigrants, or immigrants, or aliens, or foreigners. You remember God placed somebody here to reign, okay? I'm drilling these things in because I want you guys to see this, okay? So, yeah, so they could either be talking about those people, which would be their brothers that they came here with, and then somebody decided that they didn't want to deal with them anymore. And so, that might have happened in between them, or they could be trying to play it off like they're talking about Negroes, okay? And it could be talking about the ruling class of Negroes that were actually of the bloodlines of the origines that were still having a hand in power, or went in and in thinking that everything was going to be okay with the government until they saw what they were all about. And then, by the time they got there, the light filled up, right? And they didn't want the darkness really anymore. Then they were able to and that's what the caste system does. It goes in segments, and once it's done with one portion, it moves on to the next, okay? So this condition we have in part endured because we felt that the consequences of war, of succession, were such as to deprive us of the fair consideration of many of our countrymen. We believe that after more than 30 years, this is no longer the case. That 30 years is reminding me of something else too. Another thing to keep in mind is that a day to us is like 1,000 years to God. Okay, so there is no longer the case. Okay, the stand we now pledge ourselves to is forced upon us suddenly by a crisis, and our eyes are open to the fact that we must act now or leave our descendants to a fate too gloomy to submit. This is fear mongering. I was going to go ahead and say that because the word crisis popped up. They use crisis actors in media these days, mass media, lots of times, to convince people of certain things. We get all worked up and in our feelings, and then we go ahead and fight amongst each other, whether it's race. More than likely, they do it with race. Okay, that's the way to get us to fight against each other, because that's the only thing that's really different about us, because morally we all pretty much want the same damn thing. Okay, so not all, and not to say that this doesn't still exist, but what I keep telling you guys is you have to get up out of your feelings. You'll never get anywhere. And deal with what are so-called facts, okay? Because all this is just information. We don't know who was telling the truth. We don't know who found what. We can't even describe the fact that I know someone said something. I can't really find the whole comment, just a portion of, I don't know, something weird is going on. But somebody said something about, oh, these people weren't there, the bones weren't found. Well, just because nobody found the bones don't mean the damn bones ain't there. You see what I'm saying? Some places it's okay to find that stuff, like in Africa or somewhere else, okay? But they don't want to do said things or bring it up to the public if they were to find something in some of these places, because then it would just cause too much of people dipping their nose in where they don't want it, okay? And if you're on this channel, you should just know who they are. Without me trying to incriminate myself, I try to stay away from saying some things that are more sensitive, okay? Or I don't want any kind of problems with my channel, so we're just using certain terms, okay? So let's see. The stand we now pledge ourselves is forced upon us suddenly by a crisis, and our eyes are open to the fact that we must act now or leave our descendants to a fate too gloomy to submit. And if you want someone to really do some damage, try to put them in fear, like that maybe inside job that we call 9/11. And how they use the media and other things to put us in a state of fear so that they can go ahead and do something that they had wanted to do anyways, okay? It's just a way to get you to co-sign to the foolery that they want to go around and do, okay? So you have blood on your hands when that occurs, okay? So we, therefore, believing that we represent unequivocally the sentiment of white people of the country and city. Okay, so this is white people. And again, I don't believe that they're just like there's no such real thing as black people. I don't think there's really a such thing as white people either. But some people say it's on a different level, or it's more of a spiritual thing, or all these other things. But, like I said, I just don't know. So it says, that the time has passed for the intelligent citizens of, or does that mean enlightened still? I don't know. Of the community owning 90% of the property and paying taxes in like proportions to be ruled by Negroes. So they don't want to do this anymore. So now they're using Negroes, okay? They're using that term, and that's the whole switch up that I be talking about. Why couldn't we just use that term the whole time if that's what we're talking about, okay? So, second, that we will not tolerate the action of unscrupulous white men, okay, if affiliating with the Negroes. So that means of air, okay, votes, they can dominate the intelligent and thrifty element in the community, thus causing business to stagnate and progress to be out of the question. Third, that the Negro has demonstrated by antagonizing our interests in every way, and especially by his ballot, okay, that he is incapable of realizing that his interests are and should be identical with those of the community. Why is that? Maybe the Negro then knew, so notice we're not talking about the term African anymore. Maybe he knew who he was and that this was not supposed to be that way, but just because you think that you're entitled to, because the government has instructed you to do so, you can't stand it, okay? Fourth, that the progressive element in any community is the white population, and that the giving of nearly all. Now, remember, God wanted this light to appear, possibly, okay, or this whitening or lightening up, okay, that the giving of nearly all the employment to Negro laborers has been against the best interests of this country and city, and is a sufficient reason why the city of Wilmington, with its natural advantages, has not become a city of at least 50,000 inhabitants. Okay? Let's do one quick search. In makes me already think that it's been placed in something. Okay, one who dwells in a place. Okay, early 15th century, are we in the fifth day? And just because we're here, let's just look what it was saying in the fifth day. Here we go. Let's see what we were saying here. Okay, let's just go to Genesis 1 and 18 and see what we're saying, because the Bible has everything to do with this kind of stuff. Because I'm trying to tell you, no matter what somebody's telling you, you didn't get the Bible in English here in America until the late 1800s, early 1900s. Open to the public, basically. Okay? So right here. And God set them in the sky to light the earth. The earth means the earliest inhabitants or the original people or the aborigines. Okay? And to preside, okay? Inhabitants, okay? Like I said, are we in the fifth day? Oriental, native or inhabitant of East. Again, a native is not an original. Okay? Let's just look at it while we're here, because I know everybody ain't got time to watch every single video. Oh, really? Preside, 1600. Again, here we go. The sixth day, maybe. To preside over, to govern. Didn't we have governors here first? Stand guard. Superintendent, literally, sit in front of. Before, sit. Okay. Fort. Settlements. Defense, protection, to sit before, to protect. President, late 14th century, appointed governor of a, because now what I'm reading from here is in the fourth or around the fourth day, okay? When God set them in the sky to light the earth, okay? And let's see. So, appointed governor of a providence, okay? Chosen leader of a body of persons. Body, this is what I be trying to tell y'all. It could just mean, we're talking about different things sometimes, of a body of persons, okay? That the hierarchy or the people at the top of the pyramid, okay? So, and directly from Latin, okay, president, governor, to act as a head or chief, okay? Let's see, in Middle English of heads. Now, is that talking about those heads that we see when I pulled up that whole thing about the caste system? Hold on, let's see. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick before we go anywhere. It's just best to just do it this way. Okay, so right here, the head, the four heads. Wait a minute, let's see. Okay, let's see. President, governor uses to act as the head or chief. Okay, in Middle English of heads. There's a couple of them here. Okay, of religious houses, priests, hospitals, killing the hell out of y'all. Okay, but taking care of some people, you know. Just saying, it's a business. Colleges, it's a business. Okay, these are all the things they use in order to indoctrinate you and your children from birth. Institutions, universities, okay? First use for chief executive officer of a republic, okay? And the U.S. Constitution, 1787. Are we in the seventh day? From earlier American use for the officer in charge of the Continental Congress in 1774. This is even before the military was established. A sense of derived from a chosen head, okay? Of banks, individual colonies, originally Virginia and the heads of the colleges, and you know, just look it overall, whatever, however you want, okay? But again, like I said, this Bible I have here, that's the Living Bible, said that this is what God put. Let's just start all over. I'm gonna read straight through. And God set them in the sky to light the earth. Where's the sky? And to preside over the day. Now, who will be the day? Are we talking about white over here in this thing? Okay. I'm sorry. Somebody don't get the picture. Okay, preside over the day and night, and to divide the light from the darkness. Okay, so they were supposed to preside over the day. Okay. Okay, and night. Okay, and to preside over the day and night. So now you got your so-called white and your black, or whatever. And to divide the light from the darkness. Now you're going to divide the light from the darkness. Now, what is this document that we're reading here? What is this document that we're reading here? Because I think this one came a couple years prior to, I think it was 1770 maybe, before the actual declaration, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? So it says, and to divide the light from the darkness, and God was pleased. This all happened on the fourth day. Then God said, let the waters teem up with the fish and other life. When I'm saying fish, I know we have some symbols in religion that have to do with that fish. And then we have fishers of men. And then we have, again, what are we talking about? Schools of fish, groups, bodies of waters. Still, I think is representing something else. People that let the waters, that's mean the foreigners, team with the other ones, and let the sky be filled with birds of every kind. And again, we're going back to symbolic things. So we're maybe talking about like Spain and some of these other places, I don't know if it's France, that have the bird like the American eagle as their emblem or their crest or their family trees or their heraldry, those type of things. Okay. So God created the great sea animals of every sort of fish and every kind of bird. These are all sea animals. See, now it says, okay, it said, let's see. So God created great sea animals and every sort of fish and every kind of bird. Again, are those the people that came over here? Like it says that they were going to swoop down like the eagle, okay? And God looked at them with pleasure and blessed them all. A blessing can be smeared with blood, in a sense, or it can also be something that you get when you get in bed with God, okay? All of them. Multiply and stock the ocean. That was when they were bringing people over here in the 1800s. Do you hear what I'm saying? Possibly. But they had already been doing it already. So that's what I'm saying. They had already been doing it. Before Columbus came here and officially so-called came here, he was already made 3 attempts or so. There was already people coming in and out of here prior to that, okay? Multiply and stock the oceans, he told them, and to the birds, he said, I think this is representing like maybe Spain or France. Let your numbers increase, fill the earth. That means you. That means the original people, whoever you think you are that I'm talking to, that's you. And that ended the 5th day. Okay? So that ended the 5th day. Okay? So you can take it how you want to take it. Just take all the stuff that I'm trying to say to you guys, all the stuff you already know, all the stuff that you've come across, and just let's come down to a common ground. Okay? Let's see. 4th, that the progressive element, okay, we already did this one. Okay. The inhabitants. We were on the inhabitants. Okay. So we already did have inhabitants, and that reminded me of something else. So we went ahead and looked there. And then let's see what you have to be to dwell in a place. To lead into error. Deceive, mislead, to be led into error, go wrong in belief or judgment, to delay, hesitate, go astray. What is all this stuff? Who are they talking about? Okay, to retard, delay, okay, to linger, reside, residence, to stun, perplex, to hinder, delay, extend from form of root, dust. Now here come your Lord God in the next chapter that's going to be taking up the dust and creating him something. Okay, cloud, okay, vapor, smoke. Let's see. Procrastinate, to procrastinate, delay, be tardy in coming, latecomers. Don't they say that about so-called black people that couldn't read or weren't supposed to be reading? Okay, this is because they were rearranging all of your story, right? So linger, remain, stay, sojourn with them. This is all talking about this. Make a home, abide as a permanent parasite. Okay, I just put that in there. Or resident from the 1400s. Are we in the 4th day? I was just reading to you from the 4th day, and now we're talking about the 1400s. All the terms match up. If we can go ahead and look at this way, could we free everyone's mind from this way of thinking, this religious doctrine, okay? and just really use common sense. Remain in a certain condition or status. Those are the Dalits. Those are the undercast, the untouchables, the outcast, the exiled, the people that's going to remain at the bottom because they got so many people on top of them. All foreigners, because God placed them here to reign. Okay, the Lord God put them there to reign over you. Okay, irrigate, seed, and populate, depopulate, whatever. Okay, I'm just telling you how it is. Deception, trickery. Didn't they take crafty counsel against you? Heresy, madness. I'm just trying to see where we can stop. A sleeping potion. Dweller, an inhabitant, a resident of a place. That's just a native. Okay? But, excuse me, these people, okay, a native at least is somebody that sprung from the soil, meaning the Aboriginal people that were already there before these people came and did what they did. Dwelling is a place of residency. Just like heaven, the definition for heaven is just the house of God. That's it. It's just the house of God. Didn't say anything about it being in the sky. Earlier it meant a stupor, to put you in a stupor. Delay, procrastinate, stay in place. Okay. Habit, dwell, reside. Okay, you can go ahead and do this on your own so we don't make this too long. Okay? So let's go ahead and go back. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, it's still here. So let's go ahead and go back. We can go to, let's see, Genesis 18. Okay. Let's go back. I'm going to just read it on this old one because this is from like 1800s, okay? And God made two great lights, a greater light to rule the day and a lesser light to rule the night, okay? And he set them in the firmament of heaven. So heaven is just the house of God. We can go ahead and look up the firmament, to shine upon the earth, okay? To shine upon the earth, okay? The darkness, the people that were found here. In my eyes, that's just what it means, okay? So since you guys are going to think I'm just saying something, the home of God, visible sky, firmament. Wait, earlier, the visible sky, firmament, okay? Still, it's the firmament, it's the house of God, which is of uncertain and disputed origin, okay? So there you go. Okay, perhaps meaning a covering, to cover, okay? And again, what did he just say? So it can cover or shine on the darkness, okay? I mean, you can just let me know if I'm reaching, but there's no way. After you start seeing this way, there's no way, like you're going to have to come with something else. I just want to use these very minimal things to debunk the whole thing, okay? So heaven, sky, which is uncertain, okay? We already read that. So a covering, okay. And then heavens, in the heaven, the realm of heavenly bodies. Who is the heavenly bodies? Who's at the top of the pyramid in the caste system? Celestial, divine, meaning beautiful, divine, lovely. Because, you know, God said make it light and he loved it, remember? And it was good, okay? Often thought not originally. Okay, so let's just go ahead. Excellence, enjoyable. Okay, and then we're talking about the 1874 sky, 1200 a cloud. So sky didn't even mean sky back then. It meant a cloud, coming in the clouds. Okay, you know how people say get your head out the clouds? I just wonder what these clouds then really are. Okay, and it just says a cloud covering, a cloud region, and that can be the top of your head. I'm just saying, the top of your body, which would be your head. Okay, a sky. Okay, shadow, to conceal or cover or conceal, upper regions of the air. Okay, native something. Okay, so there we go. Now let's go back to what we were reading. Can we? Okay, so inhabitants, okay, that we propose in future to give a white man a large part of the employment heretofore given to Negroes because we realize that the white families cannot thrive here unless there are more opportunities for the employment of the different members of said families. 6. That the white men expect to live in this community peaceably, to have and provide absolute protection for their families. This system, since these were the earlier people, settlers or whoever, pilgrim, whatever you want to say, these were earlier people, let's just say that were coming here trying to really establish them and trying to tear down the rest of the republic or what was already here, okay? Because they want you to think that we was all with grass skirts, but no, there was empires and everything else like everywhere else here, okay? So this is what and since they're of the hierarchy or they've been planted there or they work for the system, this is who they're there to protect, okay? Try to go up and to a mayor or someone with their police assistants and stuff and try to go ahead and speak to someone like I always tell you, or a celebrity or anybody that is in the political arena, okay? Those are who they're there to protect, and they take an oath to protect the construct, not you, okay? The way they take care of you is just making sure that you're doing what you have to do and trying to get you to pay fines and tickets and fees and all this other stuff that the white men expect to live in, okay? So protection for their families, who shall be safe from insult or injury from all persons, whomsoever we are prepared to treat the Negroes, okay? Here's the real reason why you was being lynched. Under low key, okay? Of course, they ain't gonna write it like that. With justice and consideration in all matters which do not involve sacrifices of the interest of the intelligent and progressive portion of the community. So we're willing to treat them any kind of way when they're fighting amongst the poor, lower class white people or the Irish or whoever was brought over here. But when it comes to us, we can't have it because we were put here, by God. So, but are equally prepared now and immediately to enforce what we know to be our rights. 7, that we have been in our desire for harmony and peace, blinded both to our best interests and rights. A climax was reached when the Negro paper of the city published an article so vile and slanderous that it would in most communities have resulted in the lynching of the editor. See this shit? We deprecate lynching, and yet there is no punishment provided by the courts adequate for this offense. We therefore owe it to the people of the community and of this city as protection against such license in the future. So a license to kill, or are we talking about, what is it? No, what are we talking about? This reminds me of, y'all know what it is. Not Agenda 21. Damn it. I'll have to think of it later. But the right to kill, basically, for all these random people to end up killing or lynching Negroes. That's what it reminds me of. We therefore owe it to the people of the community and to this city as a protection against such license in the future, that the paper known as the Record, okay, I want to know what this paper is. Cease to be published and that its editor be banished from this community. I showed y'all the other day the articles that they were putting up about so-called black people or African people. So, and some of that stuff is disgusting and it's actually still able to be fluctuated throughout the internet. But we haven't seen many of these claims that they have about these newspapers saying bad things about them. But again, this information could just be suppressed and we might just be able to dig it up. We demand that he leaves leave this city forever within 24 hours after the issuance of this proclamation. Second, that the printing press from which the record has been issued be packed and shipped from the city without delay. That we be notified within 12 hours of the acceptance or rejection of this demand. Oh, so they'll have time to, okay. If the demand is agreed to within 12 hours, we counsel forbearance on the part of all white men. If the demand is refused or if no answer within the time mentioned, then the editor, Manly, and I forget his first name, but it reminds me of Manly P. Hall, but I don't think that that's who we're talking about. I think it was another guy. Will be expelled by force. Okay? Okay? So this was a declaration that was supposedly a real legit thing back then. Let's see. No, I don't want to go there. I'm writing it up like this because these are the terms that I might have to use in order to get the information that I'm trying to find. Okay? I need to get me a new mouse. Dang, I did something about this a long time ago. See, and this is what I'm saying about the information. I got to get the information. What is this? I have to get the information right out when I do it because, again, it's hard for me to find it again. Is it the casual killing? Okay, maybe this is what I was looking for. Are we in the 6th day, the 1600s? They had what was called the Casual Killing Act. It stated that it was okay to kill black men if they were correcting them without one being charged for a crime. Seems like that is still taking place. Okay, so here are a couple things here. And then, here's some more stuff here. And just remember that when things were going on in this land, they were progressing or they were going forth. They weren't. So if something was happening in Virginia, it might have took years for it to happen in Utah, vice versa, here and there. You know what I'm saying? So this all didn't happen across it's very important to break things down and look at different sections of the land that were even called different things at different times. It's very hard to put all this stuff back together. But you got to start somewhere. But I was just saying that kind of reminded me of that. So again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you will join me back for some more information or drop some information or something you think I missed or I should know. Hit the like button or dislike. I just got my first dislike today. That's fine. But yeah, every time somebody dislikes it, then maybe I'll get 2 more people to like it. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by and take care.